Welcome to the Deep Dive. Ready for some incredible stories?
Always.
Today we're diving into a collection of heartwarming tales, 10 of them, from around the world.
I love it when we get to travel the world through stories.
Me too. And these stories are all about human connection.
That special something that reminds us we're not alone. Even when the world feels a bit divided, there's so much compassion and generosity out there, connecting us all.
It really is like we're going on a journey, seeing how kindness shows up in different cultures, different continents,
Right, from a library in Toronto.
to the streets of Rio. We'll see how everyday folks are making a difference, big and small.
You know, sometimes it's those small acts that really hit home for me, those seemingly insignificant moments of care,
I know what you mean. They ripple outwards and
Yeah.
touch so many lives.
like a pebble in a pond.
Exactly. I'm
Oh.
feeling inspired already, ready to jump in.
Absolutely. Let's start with two stories about bridging gaps, creating connections in places you might not expect.
Okay, let's unpack these. First up, the Library of Languages in Toronto.
This one really got to me. It's about way more than just learning a new language.
You're right.
Imagine walking into a library and finding books in your native tongue.
I could almost feel the relief.
And then you find this welcoming community, ready to embrace you.
It really does paint a picture of belonging. The volunteers, they aren't just teaching grammar or vocabulary. They're building bridges of understanding.
Absolutely. It's a space where newcomers can feel seen and heard.
A basic human need, right? To connect.
Absolutely. To share our stories,
Huh.
find common ground, even when we're different. And that desire to connect, it crosses generations too, like in the story from Tokyo, the Elderly Companion Project.
So heartwarming. High
Mhm.
school students spending time with elderly residents, sharing laughter, stories, companionship.
Challenges that idea that age divides us.
I love that. Makes you realize we have so much to learn from each other, young or old.
Doesn't matter what stage of life you're in.
And sometimes, the simplest things are the greatest gifts. Just being present, lending an ear, a smile.
Exactly. Those connections can bring such joy and purpose to everyone involved.
A reminder that kindness can pop up anywhere. Now, let's shift gears a bit and see how art can be a force for good, personally, and for communities.
Love that idea. The stories from Paris and Rio, perfect examples. First, the street artist's surprise. What struck me, the artist is using his talent to elevate voices, those often overlooked.
Like he's shining a spotlight on those experiencing homelessness.
Yes, challenging us to see beyond stereotypes, recognize individual stories.
And by raising funds for shelters through his art.
He's turning awareness into action, support, creativity as a catalyst for change.
Speaking of art as a catalyst, the story from Rio really got to me. The music of solace. The collective grief after that tragedy must have been immense.
It's in those moments, those dark times, that human connection shines brightest. The musicians in Rio, they didn't just perform.
I can only imagine.
They created a space for healing, shared sorrow, collective strength.
Like their music became a bridge, connecting hearts, helping folks process their emotions. In a way words can't.
It truly is a universal language, music. It transcends boundaries.
A reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's solace, strength, in shared experiences, in beauty, in the presence of others.
Powerful stuff.
These stories are so moving. Let's look at a few examples of small acts creating ripple effects. Generosity and compassion within communities.
Can't wait.
Let's start with the food share movement in Melbourne. Such a simple but brilliant concept. Imagine if every time you ate out.
You could help nourish someone in need.
Exactly. Taking dining, something so many of us do regularly,
Yeah.
and infusing it with social responsibility, like weaving compassion into everyday life.
And the ripple effect, beautiful. The cafe owner, the customer paying for the extra meal, the person receiving it, everyone's touched.
No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted.
Such a true quote.
And speaking of acts of kindness that reverberate, the story from Stockholm, the Green Corridor of Kindness, blew me away.
Hundreds of people spontaneously clearing the roads for a young girl needing medical care.
It gives me shivers just thinking about it. That collective effort, the shared sense of urgency, compassion, incredible.
It really transcends everything. Language, culture, social barriers, pure human connection. A reminder that we're capable of extraordinary things.
When we come together.
Exactly. It really makes you realize that deep down, we all want to be a part of something bigger. Contribute to a world where compassion wins, where solidarity wins.
It's inspiring, these stories, the lengths people go to, for others, even when facing their own struggles.
Right, that's what blows me away. It's like this inner strength, this belief that human connection can overcome anything.
Exactly. Like the story from Nairobi, the unexpected guardian.
Oh, this one.
Mm-hmm.
So poignant. Picture this. You're a taxi driver, just going about your day, and suddenly you find an abandoned baby.
Oh, gosh.
Most people would freeze,
Right.
feel overwhelmed, not sure what to do.
It would be paralyzing, I can imagine.
But this driver, he doesn't hesitate. Not for a second. He goes above and beyond. He's driven by this sense of responsibility way beyond his job.
Wow.
He finds a safe haven for the baby, becomes a guardian in that moment.
That's powerful. It speaks volumes about empathy,
Yeah.
selflessness. He could have looked away, but he chose to act. And he might have changed that child's life forever.
It's amazing the power we all have to make a difference, even when we're faced with unexpected challenges.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
sometimes that difference comes from collective action, a whole community coming together to do something truly special, like the blanket of warmth in London.
Oh, I love this one. Imagine it. A wave of colorful blankets, each stitch filled with care, warmth, going to refugees who are seeking a new life, solace, in a new land.
It's so tangible, that compassion.
Right, more than just physical warmth, it's a welcoming embrace, saying you're seen, you're valued, you're not alone.
It's beautiful.
And those knitters from all walks of life, needles clicking, a powerful symbol of unity, shared purpose, individual kindness, transforming into a collective force for good.
And that force can have such a lasting impact, shaping futures for individuals, for communities, like the story from Mumbai, the gift of education.
This one hits home for me too. The businessman who funded scholarships, he didn't just give money, he opened doors to possibilities for those underprivileged students.
An investment in human potential, believing everyone deserves the chance to learn, to grow, no matter what.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe some of those students will pay it forward, inspired by that generosity.
It's like planting a seed that grows into a massive tree, its branches touching countless lives.
Beautiful imagery.
And sometimes all it takes is one person's dedication to start a movement, the Marathon for Medicine in Boston. It captures that spirit perfectly.
I know exactly what you mean. That runner, carrying the picture of the young cancer patient, mile after mile. So moving.
It is.
It's that personal commitment, turning a physical challenge into a platform for awareness, support.
Inspiring others to join in.
Yes. Contribute to a shared goal. It shows how we all have unique talents, abilities. We can all make a difference. Find what lights us up and use that fire to make the world a little brighter.
I love that. You know, these stories have given us so much to think about. Have you ever noticed how even a simple act of kindness can change your whole perspective? Especially on a tough day.
Oh, absolutely. It's amazing the power of those small moments, those human connections. I had a really stressful week once, feeling lost, overwhelmed, just down.
We've all been there.
Walking home from work, head down, and I see this little girl on a bench. She's upset. I stop and ask if she's okay. Turns out she lost her favorite stuffed animal.
Heartbreaking.
We looked for it, and finally we found it, tucked under a bush. The joy on her face when she hugged that little toy. Priceless.
I bet. Amazing how such a small thing can bring so much happiness.
Right. It shifted my whole mood. All that stress, worries, melted away, replaced by this warmth, connection, a reminder that even when you're struggling, we can offer kindness, support to others.
Because we're all in this together.
Exactly. And those little acts of compassion, sometimes that's all someone needs to keep going.
Like a little beacon of hope, a reminder that we're not alone. Even in the darkest moments, that flicker of humanity is there.
You said it perfectly, and I think that's the core message of these stories. Even when the world feels divided, challenging, there's still so much good out there, so much compassion waiting to be found.
Absolutely. Speaking of interconnectedness, what strikes me about these stories? How they show how connected our world really is. An act of kindness in Nairobi inspires someone in Stockholm. A community effort in Melbourne sparks change in Mumbai.
It really is a beautiful web, delicate, each thread an act of compassion, generosity, love. One thread vibrates, the whole web resonates. It shows that our actions, no matter how small they seem, they can touch lives far beyond our own little circle.
We're not isolated. We're a global community, bound together by being human.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So what can we take away from all this? How do we bring this spirit of kindness into our everyday lives?
I think it starts with being open, curious, looking for those chances to connect, offer support, celebrate this beautiful thing we call human experience.
shifting our focus from me to we.
Recognizing that we're all connected. Our well-being depends on each other. And it's not about waiting for some grand gesture, some heroic feat.
It's about those everyday moments.
Right. The seemingly small things.
Yeah.
That can change someone's life. Offering a helping hand, lending an ear, just a genuine smile.
It all adds up.
Exactly. Those small acts of grace create a more compassionate world, a more interconnected world.
And you know what? Kindness is contagious.
Absolutely. We see someone being compassionate, it inspires us to do the same. Another ripple effect, spreading positivity.
A chain reaction of goodness.
Rippling through communities across the globe.
Love it.
And the best part, we can all be a part of that chain reaction. Each of us can be agents of change in our own way.
It feels like we've traveled the globe, witnessing these acts of connection, support.
It's remarkable, isn't it? All these stories. So diverse, different locations, circumstances, but there's this common thread.
Yeah, what is it about these stories that connects them all?
It's that belief in human connection. Like, we can create a better world together.
You're right. It's like a universal language,
Mhm.
spoken through generosity, empathy, love.
And everyone can speak it. You don't need special skills or anything. It's just a choice to approach life with kindness.
So we're wrapping up our deep dive into these amazing stories. What sticks with you? Any particular story or a takeaway?
I think it's that realization that kindness isn't limited. It's not something that runs out.
Right.
We can grow it, multiply it through what we do every day.
Each little act matters.
Absolutely. Every act. It can inspire others, create that ripple effect of positivity.
It's like we all have this tiny spark of light, and when we share it,
The world gets a little brighter.
I love that.
Yeah.
These stories have given us a lot to ponder. Have you ever experienced an act of kindness that really stayed with you?
I have. It was small, but it meant the world to me. I was having a rough day, overwhelmed, discouraged, just walking home, lost in thought, and I bump into this elderly woman.
Oh, no.
I apologize, thinking she'd be annoyed.
Yeah.
But she just smiles, this warm smile, and says, "It's okay, dear. We all have those days. Just keep your head up."
Wow. That's powerful. Such a small gesture. But I bet it made your day.
It did. It reminded me that even when we're struggling, we can still be kind, offer support. And sometimes those little things are exactly what someone needs to keep going.
A little boost.
Exactly.
Like a reminder that we're not alone. That even when things are dark, there's still hope. Humanity waiting to be found.
Beautifully said. And that's the heart of it, right? These stories remind us that even in a world that can feel divided, challenging, there's so much goodness, compassion out there waiting to be discovered.
So as we go from here, what's one small act of kindness you can do today? Maybe offer a compliment. Reach out to someone who's lonely. Donate to a cause you believe in.
Anything, big or small. Just notice those moments where you can make a difference,
Because even the smallest act can have a ripple effect.
inspiring others to do the same.
It's like planting seeds of kindness that grow into a whole garden of compassion.
I love that.
So let's all go out there and be that change. Let kindness be our compass, compassion our guide.
And never underestimate the power of human connection to create a better world for everyone.
Thank you for joining us on this heartwarming journey. Until next time, keep spreading that kindness wherever you go.